Project Management Professional Training Session 18 Part 2. Chapter 5. 1. Answer, C. C is the correct answer because the precedence diagramming method is the most commonly used network diagramming method that can be used in the activity sequencing process to represent any of the four kinds of logical dependency relationships. A and B are incorrect because CPM and simulations are used in the schedule development process. D is incorrect because the arrow diagramming method is not a popular method and is not even included in the standard. 2. Answer, B. B is the correct answer because crashing is used to compress the schedule by adding more resources to the project. A and D are incorrect because the network diagramming method and the sequencing method do not need crashing. C is incorrect because crashing does not reduce cost. It may very well increase cost when you commit additional resources. 3. Answer, B. B is the correct answer because an activity has external dependency when it relies on factors outside the project. A is incorrect because activity Y has a mandatory dependency on activity X, which legally or inherently depends on X. It's possible to track down the tourist even after the season. C is incorrect because there is no such dependency called internal. D is incorrect because we don't have an internal dependency here. 4. Answer, B. B is the correct answer because finish to start dependency means that the successor, B, activity cannot start until the predecessor, A, activity is finished. A is incorrect because the start to finish relationship means that the successor activity cannot finish until the predecessor activity is started. C is incorrect because we do not have enough information to say that this dependency is mandatory. D is incorrect because although there is a dependency between two activities, that does not mean they are on the critical path. 5. Answer, A. A is the correct answer because each activity on the critical path has a zero float time, and therefore if an activity is delayed it will delay the entire project. B, C, and D are incorrect because these are incorrect statements about the activities on the critical path. 6. Answer, C. C is the correct answer because the analogous estimating technique estimates the duration of an activity based on the duration of a similar activity in a previous project. A is incorrect because parametric estimating uses parameters such as the productivity rate of the resource assigned to the activity. B is incorrect because the individual in this example used the analogous method and not expert judgment. Even though he happened to be an expert, we don't know in which field. D is incorrect because the Delphi technique is not for activity duration estimating. 7. Answer, A. A is the correct answer because float time is the positive difference between the allowed late start date and the early start date of a schedule activity without changing the schedule finish date. B, C, and D are incorrect because these are not valid terms used to describe delaying an activity without changing the schedule finish date. 8. Answer, B. B is the correct answer because by doing some activities in parallel, fast tracking, you might be able to compress the schedule without adding cost. A is incorrect because crashing usually results in increased cost because it involves adding extra resources. C is incorrect because the project sponsor is sponsoring, paying for, the project. So, asking for a new sponsor does not make sense. It can only trigger the sponsor to ask for a new project manager. D is incorrect because you do not want to bypass the sponsor on budgetary matters since the budget will need the sponsor's approval. 9. Answer, C. C is the correct answer because it has the longest sequence. 8 plus 6 plus 8 equals 22. A is incorrect because this path is only 20 units long. B is incorrect because there is no such path as start IG finish in this network diagram. D is incorrect because this path is only 21 units long, which is less than 22. 10. Answer, D. D is the correct answer because the float time for G is 0 because it is on the critical path. A, B, and C are incorrect because G is on the critical path and must have a float time of 0. 11. Answer, C. C is the correct answer because if you consider all the paths in the network diagram, the path start IGH finish adds up to 22, which is longer than any other path in the diagram. A, B, and D are incorrect because the length of a path is not measured by the number of nodes in it. 12. Answer B. B is the correct answer because in the 3-point method, in this case using the weighted average is 9 plus 18 plus 4 by 12, 1/6 equals 12.5. A is incorrect because a weight of 4 is assigned to the most likely scenario as compared to the weight of 1 for each of the optimistic and pessimistic scenarios. C and D are incorrect because the duration estimate should be the weighted average of the 3 points. 13. Answer B. B is the correct answer because the activity duration is calculated after an activity has been defined. A, C, and D are incorrect because the WBS, project scope statement, and WBS dictionary, as parts of the scope baseline, are valid input items to the define activities process. 14. Answer D. D is the correct answer because work performance data is an input to this process and not an output. A, B, and C are incorrect because all these items could be parts of the output of the schedule control process. 15. Answer C. C is the correct answer because the project charter is an input to only one schedule management process, and that is the planned schedule management process. A, B, and D are the incorrect answers because the project charter is an input to only one schedule management process, and that is planned schedule management. Chapter 6. 1. Answer D. D is the correct answer because a chart that displays the resource assignments for each activity is an example of a responsibility assignment matrix, RAM. A is incorrect because a project organization chart represents the relationships between the different roles in the project, and that is not what management wants. B is incorrect because the WBS contains work packages, not activities and resource requirements. C is incorrect because management wants the resource requirements for each activity, not just a list of roles and responsibilities. 2. Answer C. C is the correct answer because the resource requirements document is not the output of the planned resource management process. A, B, and D are incorrect because all these items are the output of the resource planning process. 3. Answer C. C is the correct answer because the team charter is an output of the planned resources process. A, B, and D are incorrect because these are false statements about the team charter document. 4. Answer B. B is the correct answer because you need resources figured out before you can estimate costs. A and C are incorrect because you cannot estimate costs until you have a resource plan to figure out resources, and you cannot determine budget until you have cost estimates. D is incorrect because you need resources figured out before you can plan for cost management. 5. Answer A. A is the correct answer, and the other answers are incorrect, because the activity source needs to be known before you can estimate the activity duration to schedule, and resources and schedule need to be known for estimating cost and determining budget. 6. Answer A. A is the correct answer because a contingency reserve is applied both to activity durations, time, and cost estimates. B, C, and D are incorrect answers because these are true statements about the contingency reserve. 7. Answer A. A is the correct answer because the cost baseline is an output of the determined budget process. B is incorrect because there is no standard process with this name. C is incorrect because the estimate costs process is used to estimate the costs, and these estimates need to be aggregated to determine the budget. D is incorrect because cost baseline is an input to the control cost project. 8. Answer A. Plus or minus 10% accuracy leads to an uncertainty of plus or minus $500x 10/100 equals plus or minus $50. Therefore, range equals $450 to $550. 9. Answer D. D is the correct answer and the others are not because the project charter, schedule management plan, and risk management plan are listed as input to the planned cost management process in PMBOK, and the quality management plan is not. 10. Answer D. D is the correct answer because the cost overrun in the firm fixed price, FFP, contract is borne by the seller. A is incorrect because in cost plus incentive fee, CPIF, cost overrun is shared by the buyer and seller. B is incorrect because in time and materials, TNM, the increased cost due to the increased quantity of resources, such as work hours by a contractor, is borne by the buyer. C is incorrect because in a cost plus fixed fee, CPFF, contract, cost overrun is paid by the buyer, as the seller is reimbursed for all allowable costs. 11. Answer A. A is the correct answer because it uses the rates for labor, and materials costs are fixed. B, C, and D are incorrect because the given scenario does not match the definitions of these contract types. 12. Answer B. B is the correct answer because SOW is an output of the planning procurements process. A, C, and D are incorrect answers because all of these are true statements. 13. Answer C. C is the correct answer because the cost overrun is paid by the buyer in cost plus fixed fee, CPFF, contracts. A is incorrect because the firm fixed price contract presents risk to both buyer and seller because the fixed price might turn out to be above or below the actual cost. B and D are incorrect because the fee in these cases does not rise with the increase of the actual cost. 14. Answer A. A is the correct answer because in this scenario the hourly rate sounds like a good option. B and C are incorrect because the reimbursable cost does not make sense in this case, and you don't have to add a fee to the cost. D is incorrect because you cannot correctly estimate the total price because you do not know how many programs are required. 15. Answer D. D is the correct answer because the seller proposal is a response to the bidding documents. A, B, C are incorrect because all of these are bidding documents. 16. Answer C. C is the correct answer because the amount of work and hence the cost cannot be determined at this point. According to CPFF, all costs are reimbursed to the seller, and a fixed fee as a percentage of the original estimate is also paid. A is incorrect because the amount of work and hence the cost cannot be determined at this point. B is incorrect because a time and materials contract is used in a situation where both cost reimbursement and fixed price features need to be applied. This is not the case here. D is incorrect because there is no such contract type as cost plus time. 17. Answer C. C is the correct answer because make or buy analysis is a technique used in the procurement planning process called planned procurements. A is incorrect because make or buy decisions are already made in the conduct procurements process. B is incorrect because there is no standard process called administer procurement. D is incorrect because control procurement is not the process in which make or buy decisions are made. Chapter 7. 1. Answer B. B is the correct answer because a risk can have a negative or a positive effect on a project. A, C, and D are incorrect answers because these are true statements about project risks. 2. Answer A. A is correct because the risk register is the output of the risk identification process, but it is not used as an input because it does not exist before this process. B, C, and D are incorrect because the risk register is an input item to perform qualitative risk analysis, perform quantitative risk analysis, plan risk responses, implement risk responses, and monitor risks. 3. Answer B. B is the correct answer because there is no standard technique called Delphi used in the Identify Risks process according to the PMBOK, 6th edition. A, C, and D are incorrect answers because brainstorming is the data gathering technique, and SWOT analysis and root cause analysis are the data analysis techniques used for identifying risks. 4. Answer A. A is the correct answer because, depending upon the experience of the team, risks can be moved directly after the identification process to the quantitative analysis process without performing qualitative analysis. B, C, and D are incorrect answers because these are true statements. 5. Answer B. B is correct because building redundancy into a system is an example of mitigating the risk. A is incorrect because the risk can still happen because you have not changed the plan, such as moving the server center to some other city. C is incorrect because accepting a risk means no proactive action is taken. This is not the case here. D is incorrect because you have not transferred the risk to a third party. 6. Answer D. D is correct because the risk has been transferred to a third party. A is incorrect because the risk can still happen because you have not changed the plan, such as eliminating the need for that part of the system. B is incorrect because mitigating the risk does not involve transferring the risk to a third party. C is incorrect because accepting a risk means no proactive action is taken. 7. Answer C. C is correct because the numerical analysis of a risk is called quantitative risk analysis. A is incorrect because assigning numbers does not necessarily mean you are performing a Monte Carlo simulation, although it is one of the tools used to perform quantitative analysis. B is incorrect because qualitative analysis does not involve numerical analysis, such as EMV calculations. D is incorrect because risk response planning will be based on the results of risk analysis. 8. Answer D. D is correct because the probability of the risk is 50%, and the probability of the positive impact is 40%, so the total probability for the positive impact to happen is 0.5 times 0.4 equals 0.2. EMV equals probability times value of the outcome equals 0.2 times $200,000 equals $40,000. A, B, and C are incorrect because they show wrong values for EMV. 9. Answer A. A is correct because the probability of the risk is 50%, and the probability of the positive impact is 40%, so the total probability for the positive impact to happen is 0.5 times 0.4 equals 0.2. EMV equals probability times value of the outcome equals 0.2 times $200,000 equals $40,000. Similarly, EMV for threat equals 0.3 times $50,000 equals $15,000. Therefore, EMV for the risk equals $40,000 to $15,000 equals $25,000 billion. C and D are incorrect because they show wrong values for EMV. 10. Answer D. D is correct because secondary risks are those risks that arise as a result of risk responses. A is incorrect because a residual risk is a risk that remains after a response has been performed. B is incorrect because, depending upon the nature of the secondary risk, it may have any priority. C is incorrect because the risk response will depend upon the analysis results of the risk. 11. Answer D. D is the correct answer because there is no such standard risk response named risk rejection. A, B, and C are all incorrect answers because these are valid risk responses. 12. Answer A. A is correct because SWOT is a risk identification technique that identifies risks by examining the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, SWOT, of a given project. B is incorrect because this is a wrong statement about SWOT. C and D are incorrect because SWOT is a technique used in risk identification, not in risk response planning, nor in quantitative risk analysis. 13. Answer C. C is the correct answer because you need to perform quantitative risk analysis to create a list of risks prioritized based on the total effect of each risk on the overall project objectives. A, B, and D are incorrect because these are the possible output items from qualitative risk analysis. 14. Answer D. D is the correct answer because the decision about a risk-related contractual agreement can be an output of risk response planning, not of the quantitative risk analysis. A, B, and C are incorrect because all these are the possible output items from the quantitative risk analysis. 15. Answer B. B is the correct answer because benchmarking is a quality planning technique that compares the practices, products, or services of a project with those of some reference projects for the purpose of learning, improving, and creating the basis for measuring performance. A is incorrect because you can always brainstorm, but it does not have to compare the results of similar activities. C is incorrect because, although it is a quality planning technique, it involves striking a balance between cost and benefit, which are not similar. D is incorrect because quality metrics are not quality planning techniques, these are output items of the quality planning process. 16. Answer, C. C is the correct answer because matrix diagrams are not used to explore the effects of defects, the tool for that would be cause and effect diagrams. A, B, and D are incorrect because all three are true statements about matrix diagrams. 17. Answer, D. D is the correct answer because quality metrics are not used to find the key quality metrics important for project success, the tool for that would be the matrix diagrams. A, B, and C are incorrect because all three are true statements about the quality metrics. 18. Answer, D. D is the correct answer because flowcharts are not used in figuring out the frequency of defects from different attributes of a product during inspection, the tool for that would be the check sheets. A, B, and C are incorrect because all three are true statements about the flowcharts. 19. Answer, A. A is the correct answer because there is no standard process named perform quality assurance. B, C, and D are incorrect because all three are true statements about the mind mapping technique. 20. Answer, A. A is the correct answer. B is incorrect because Schubert defined the plan-do-check-act cycle of quality management, and Deming modified it. C and D are incorrect because Crosby and One have made contributions to the knowledge base of quality management, but they did not define the plan-do-check-act cycle. Chapter 8. 1. Answer, C. C is correct because this is what the stakeholder engagement plan is for. A and B are incorrect because these are not documents, but rather tools and techniques. D is incorrect because the stakeholder register contains information about the stakeholders and not the management strategies about them. 2. Answer, A. A is correct and the others are not because the stakeholder register document is the only of the listed items that is not generated during the planned stakeholder engagement process, it's generated during the identify stakeholders process instead. 3. Answer, D. D is correct because managing and controlling stakeholder engagement is the core of stakeholder management. A and C are incorrect because you can neither manage nor control stakeholders at large, you can only engage them. B is incorrect because managing stakeholder expectations is a part of this knowledge area, not the whole single focus. 4. Answer, A. A is correct and the others are not because project business documents are input to only A of the given options. Manage stakeholder expectations and plan stakeholder management from the list are not even standard processes. 5. Answer, E. All of these are communication skills, including listening. Without listening actively, you wouldn't be able to respond effectively. 6. Answer, D. D is the best answer because both basic and more complex interactive communication models have the feature of delivering messages and ensuring that they are understood. A is incorrect because the basic sender/receiver communication model does not have the feature of ensuring the message is understood. 7. Answer, A. A is the correct answer because, by trying to understand the phrases and terms, you are trying to decode the message, and those phrases and terms are acting as noise. B and C are incorrect because this is a message sent by the team member and is not a response. D is incorrect because we don't know in which language the message is written. 8. Answer, D. D is the correct answer because stakeholder management strategies are in the stakeholder engagement plan, an input to communication planning. A, B, and C are incorrect because all these items are part of the communication management plan, an output of communication planning. 9. Answer, D. D is the correct answer, and the others are not, because communication, in singular, refers to the act of communicating, such as sending an email message, while communications, in plural, refers to the artifacts of communication, such as meeting minutes and reports.